Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Soaring Through Chaos. And the reason we do this is to share our lives, to understand each other. We are definitely in the midst of another wave of the pandemic. We've lost count of how many waves we've been through. And there's all this uncertainty around health, and uncertainty around life of friends and family, uncertainty around jobs. And all this creates anxiety. It creates a lot of rift between people sometimes, and a lot of not understanding what to do. Amid all this, I find people, and I've met them over the years, who are making sense of life, who are trying to keep their sanity, and who are supporting community. And one of them is Ravina Chaudhary. Ravina, tell us about you. We met
Yes,
about more than about 2 years ago, I think, more than 2 years ago.
yes,
And
yes, yes,
you're in Delhi, and you're on your way to be a therapist, counselor.
yes.
So tell us about your life.
Yeah, thank you, Shankar bhai. Um, Telling about one's life is, a story. There's a
Yes.
lot to share and a lot to learn, lot that you learn from other people. So for me, like you just shared about me, I am ongoing to become a counselor and a therapist, and I feel very honored and proud to call myself a counselor and a therapist because in today's time I feel this is something very crucial and important, especially looking at now the COVID times that we all are going to relate to how our mental health is going haywire because of being at home and not being able to do the normal things we do. The things are changing, for everybody. So globally being impacted, and specifically talking about my life, I am a lot of things. I started my journey as started studying psychology around in 2015 when I started with my bachelor's, and I just felt so grateful to choose this course. I met such amazing people throughout these years with whom I could learn, do such beautiful internships, So my area of specialization that I call is child psychology, working with the adolescent age group, the youth, and working on well-being, the life skills that we need, and how life is just not going on. It is not just that you're going and living every day, not feeling much inside, but how to enjoy that every moment and every activity that you are doing. If even if you are in a job, in a company that makes you feel that, oh my God, what am I doing? You can still be able to find a little value in that. So that is how you find well-being for your own self in life. And other than that, if we start talking about how this whole lockdown started, for which I must say, Shankar Bhai, this soaring through chaos, I love the name, first of all, because it's actually soaring out through all of this chaos that is
Yes.
happening outside in the world, inside in our brains, in our heads, the confusions that we are going through. I can share one of the confusions that I am going through because before the lockdown, so, my journey is still going on, like I said, on the way of becoming a counselor, a therapist, a lot of things to learn. And this year was going to be my year of learning, of getting to one of those places where I could say, yes, I'm doing so great. And suddenly everything stopped. The lockdown happened. We couldn't go out. We couldn't meet people. We couldn't continue our works. I was working in a place and then I lost that work because obviously, घर बैठ के काम नहीं हो सकता था वो. And everything came to a stop. I think before March, I was like, I know what I'm going to do in my life. Everything is set and I'm going to go for it. And suddenly after March, I was like, I am so lost. What is going to happen next and where is my life going to head now? And soaring through chaos, the name says exactly how me personally, I was in this chaos. I'm still in this chaos, and I have that hope that I'm going to soar out of it. No, I'm soaring out of it, and I'm going to get on that place where I had thought myself to be. So very soon I'm going to become a therapist, I'm going to become a counselor, and I am a facilitator, I am a dance facilitator, I dance around as like we also met when for the first time and we vibed over it, our dance and we danced together. So that's what I do. The lockdown has done this for me as well. I was really shy to post my dance or to tell people that this is what I do. But in this lockdown, I created my own Instagram handle, another handle, public handle, and I gathered that courage to post a few dance videos in it. So that was one soaring out of the chaos things for me. That I stepped out and I was like, no, you just can't keep sitting in this chaos. I have to do something about it. That was my first step that made me see through and have this little bit of vision for myself for some time. Yeah. If we keep talking about it, I have a lot of stories to tell. I have a lot of things
In fact,
to share.
in
I am
fact, it
someone who
was
talks a lot.
really amazing. We met in these unconference-like environments, the Learning Society of Unconference, and I'm
Yeah.
very grateful to those who started the whole society, including Manish Jain of Shikshantar Andolan and
Yeah.
Swaraj University. We met Dharmik Trivedi,
Hmm.
and we met Vineet Tripathi, and of course, Ashish Tiwari. All these people do incredible work,
Hmm.
all of you together, whether it
Yes.
is supporting creativity at a place to nurture and foster
Hmm.
creativity among lower class and lower middle class students. And I know you will
Hmm.
continue to
Hmm.
do work in multiple segments of the society.
Yes.
So my question is,
Yes.
why psychology? What inspired you to become a psychologist in the first place?
Yeah. That's a very interesting question. I love that question because uh, so it was nothing like I had decided to become a psychologist. It was nothing at all like that. So I finished my 12th and I was completely lost. That what am I going to do in my life ahead? I was going through courses and I came through psychology. I read a bit about it and I felt a connect with it. I felt, yeah, this is something I really want to do. So before 12th, one thing was for sure that I don't want to be an engineer because I had done PCM. Everyone thought, okay, engineering is the only thing you're going to do. But I was very sure I don't want to do that. And I was very sure that I want to do something that involves people, talking with people, helping people, just having that community. I was very sure about that. I just joined the course. I started studying it and I fell in love with it. I was like, this is such an amazing course. You get to know so much about your own self. You get so much of awareness. Self awareness is so enriching. I felt after doing this course, not only in college, but because I did a lot of certifications and attended different sort of workshops, that made me feel this course, this subject is very empowering. You get to know about your own self and you didn't know you had those things, you didn't know you had those thoughts, you didn't know that you had those traumas from your past as a child, but now you know, you're so aware about it and you have the power to change it. You know that previously when we see people who don't know about psychology, who don't know about what is mental health, who don't know that they can actually go to someone and get help with all the issues that they are facing. But now because I know about it, one, I am so empowered that I have a professional help with me. I don't have to go through all of this alone. I can go through a psychologist, I can go through a counselor. Second, I can be that person for people. And so choosing psychology to choosing child psychology in counseling specifically, that how I work around adolescent is a very interesting story because when I look back at my childhood, I look back कि at that time I really needed someone to guide me or to just listen to me or tell me that whatever emotions you are going through is normal because you are in that age group where you're having hormonal imbalances, physical changes, emotional changes. Generally when we talk about adolescent, we talk about the physical changes that one goes through, but very less people talk about the emotional changes that we go through. The biological changes are very easy to say, but the chemical imbalances that you go through, it's not many people talk about it. So that was one of my biggest reasons to choose psychology, and then choosing child psychology, or we can say adolescent, working with adolescent age group, because no one really tells you about the real challenges that you face here when you are in that age group. The fights with friends and fight with the parents and teachers, and where you have so many new things happening with you that you just can't understand. And then you need someone who can be a counselor, who can be a guide, who can be someone like an elder sister maybe, or someone just a mentor maybe, that can tell you that whatever you're going through is normal, it's okay, you can go through it and you will get out of it. I look back at my time, I was a mess. I was literally a mess. And I don't know how many people I must have hurted saying stupid things. And because I had no idea what was going on with me, I did not had any empathy or compassion for the other people who I was shouting at. But now I look back, I know that that was normal. I just needed someone to guide me properly in it. That is why I just want to be that person for the adolescent age group specifically. I keep mentioning adolescent age group a lot because that's the age group where you go through a lot of changes, a lot of changes. When we all can look back at our time and we can see that, yeah, lot had happened that time.
Can you give any
So yes,
specific
this is how
example?
I feel just so connected.
Can you give any
Mm-hmm.
specific
Of
example
my
of what you
life.
faced? Yeah, because as you know, it is so
Yeah.
important to face vulnerability, and in our community, in our
Mm.
society, especially boys are told again and again, "Don't cry, don't show your vulnerability." Vulnerability
Yeah.
is showing vulnerability is considered a weakness, and you know much better than that by now. So I just wonder,
Mm-hmm.
anything
Yes.
that you can
Yes.
say, either you faced or somebody in your family or friend or
Mm-hmm.
somebody that you work with has faced.
Yeah. So let me take my own example. Uh, so as a child, so I there was a point in my 11th or 12th class where I had just distanced myself from my friends because I thought that no one wants to be with me. I had good friends, but I had just distanced myself from them. I started sitting alone, and obviously then boy problems, and you like someone, and all of those emotions of like emotions that you feel it is love and all of that. I was going through all of that in that 10th, 11th, 12th of my my years, and everyone around me told me, as in that I like someone and that's such a bad thing. I'm, our society, and how they treat these things. Like if you like a boy or you're going around with a boy, that is frowned upon. You can't do it. It is not okay. And that time I felt, oh my God, this is so wrong. Why am I feeling this? Why is so much, why? And I was so helpless that I had nowhere to go, no one to talk to exactly about it. Only a few of my friends who were also sailing in the same boat. They were also going through the same thing that I was. So, how much good could we do to each other? And I very, very clearly remember all the emotions I used to have, and I just used to cry. All day, every day, I just used to cry that what is happening? Why? Where am I going? I don't have any friends. No one loves me. I mean, you can just imagine all of those things. I was going through all of those things, and my school did not had any counselor that time, and not even a psychology teacher, nothing like that. So I had no one. I was just going through with it, thinking that I am such a bad girl. I am a very bad human being. I'm a very bad person. That I'm going through all of these emotions. No one likes me. and everyone just wants to stay away from me. I had all of these doubts and thoughts. Had it be more longer, you know, more longer months and prevailed for a longer time, I surely would have been in depression or, you know, had anxiety attacks or all of that. But luckily, I did not went to that extent. So that is where I look back and I see now that it was not only me, it was so many other people going through the same things because it is normal. It is not uh, something that it's not wrong basically. It is normal. You like someone, you want to be a relationship with someone, or you fight with friends, or you fight with your parents because you don't understand them. So it's the mutual understanding that we really want at that time. हमें लगता है कोई समझता नहीं है हमें कि किसी को नहीं समझ आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ और उस टाइम पे sadly many of the parents also don't understand. They also say that, you know, पढ़ाई में अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है, ये नहीं हो रहा है, वो नहीं हो रहा है, you're not good for this, you're good for nothing. Plus the teachers will also show you like that you're good for nothing. Marks अच्छे नहीं आ रहे हैं, you're not studying in the class, or you're just talking so much to your friends, you're just hanging around so much. Or the one thing, because I used to dance, so, you know, although I was very encouraged by everyone to dance on stages, and I've done a lot of performances in school and all of that, but then dance was always looked at as second option. It was just an extracurricular that you're doing, but you have to study, and if you don't do that, you're not a good child, you're not a good student. So all of these you know, conceptions that we have, which when we grow older, they are just so much inbuilt in us that we just can't get out of it. Like if it hadn't been of this study that I'm doing, I still would have thought myself as a wrong child, as a bad human being, or, you know, someone who just doesn't know anything, or having these emotions is wrong. I literally would have been in those mindsets. So
Yeah.
that is one experience. I look back and I'm like, oh, that was heavy. That was really heavy. And I really don't want any child to go through that. I mean, go through it, but don't feel that you're alone. Because someone like me as a counselor or a psychologist, someone like us will be there. You know, you can come to us and we can tell you that it is normal. Go through your adversities, go through all your emotions, go through all that sadness that you have, the imbalances of emotions that you have, experience through it. You're not bad, you're not wrong. You just have to experience it at that time. Very simple, very, very simple. Just
Yeah, in fact, I mean, it's almost an epidemic of shame and vulnerability. And I hope the situation is a little better now in schools. What do you think? You've been,
yes,
what
I
you're talking about is less than 10 years ago. Is it any better now in schools?
so so last I was interning in a school under a school counselor, and I saw that many of the teachers are now educated about psychology, about the mental health issues. So I saw that there is not so much of pressure on the child, but at the same time, many things are the same. You know how people know that there's a counselor, you can go to her and you can talk to her, but such a big role for a counselor at that time, because you have to maintain that confidentiality with the child. You also have to maintain, you know, your relationship with the teachers and the parents. It is still building, I would say. You know, the things are better. From my time, because my school did not had any psychologist or anything. But yeah, it is better. It still has to go a long way, I'd say.
And I mean, I'm so glad that people like you are going into it with an open mind, fresh from the scars
Mm.
that many of us experience as teenagers, as adolescents. And, there's so much competition these days. We have a mad competition with
Yes.
more than half the nation under the age of 25. We're talking about more than 65 crores or 650 million. That's double the population of the United States. that's the number of
Yeah,
children we have, and they have to compete for the same universities, colleges, jobs, and all that. Do you think that was another stress factor when you were in school? And I think there are more students now than when you were in school, right? How is
hmm,
that playing out?
right. Yeah, so of course, the rat race that we call it, that you have to do something in your life, you have to get into a college. I'd say the whole conventional way of living life. You know, you go to school, you go to college, you do something, then you get a job, and then you have a family, and then you continue with it. So that is a big pressure for everyone, specifically someone who is fresh out of school, out of that cocoon of school, and now so many entrance exams and so many people to compete with. Another example I can have. So when I joined college, again because I was so low on confidence, I did not give auditions for any of the society. I love dancing, but I did not give audition for the dance society. And I was very interested in theater and all of that, but I never gave any auditions for it because I thought there are so many people who are so good than me. No, said they're so better than me. Where I stand? I stand nowhere. I'm good for nothing in front of these people. And yeah, that is what people, the children, with every year, children face that. Every college has so many students getting in every year, and many students don't even want to study that. They're just doing it because the conventional ways say that you have to do this. So it is very I can say difficult for children to choose college courses in my life and my future, where it is going to go, the uncertainty. But they don't know how to deal with those uncertainties. And we have very sad cases also around that I would not like to touch right now because that can be triggers for many people. But we,
True.
we know just students giving up. Yeah,
Well, on a positive note,
it's
what
really
I'm
sad.
finding is that, well, some people have just dropped out of the rat race and are doing things like unschooling,
Hmm.
homeschooling, but that's not a common option.
Yes, yes,
And then there are people like you, and I
yes.
meet many who do like a hybrid. So there is the mainstream track,
Hmm.
which is the bachelor's and the master's
Yeah,
and college and all that. And then there are other things you do.
yeah,
So how are you keeping your sanity? How are
yeah,
you maintaining your sense of
yeah.
self and sense of identity through all this rat race?
Yes, yes. It was only recently when I realized that it is not very important to get a degree for me to, flourish in my life. So, how I dealt with this, I made a balance. I I was doing my bachelor's and I'm still doing my master's only because I want to study. My purpose is not to get a degree. My purpose is that I want to study and get some knowledge from, the teachers have some knowledge. They have been teaching since so well. I can learn something from them. I can study from the books. So I look at this conventional way of education just because I have to learn, not because someone else is putting a pressure on me to learn, get good grades, and pass out and have a degree. So that's my choice. And then I have this other choice where even if I don't have a degree, my talent is on my skills, my practical experience is going to help me deal with my life and have a good profession, you can say. And who says that you only have to have one profession in life? Who says that you can only be one thing? If I am a psychologist, I can only be a psychologist in life. No, there are so many other things I am capable of. I can become, I can choose that. I can have two professions. Why not? So just my mindset shifted. So the pressure lifted from that mindset shift. So whatever I'm doing is because I think I want to do it, not because someone else is telling me to do it. That is the biggest shift that I think any one of us can have, where you are doing it because you want to do it. You dance, right? You hold sessions with dancing and you dance around with people because you want to do it. So how will you start dancing if someone tells you that you have to dance? Will you dance? Will you be able to open up and dance? No, because someone is just telling you to do it and you don't want to do it at that time. But
Then
when
it's
you want to
work.
dance, you open up, you jump around. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
exactly. When no one's on your head, you're just doing it because you love it. And then when you love it, you're the best at it. You're the best version of yourself at something you're doing what you love.
In
Yes,
fact, I
that's
used to
what
think that you dance with
I think I would want to
your
convey.
we all used to think that you
Sorry,
dance
sorry.
with your twin sister on Instagram. So she's not quite your twin, huh?
Yeah. No, 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 no. So we look very much alike because our mothers are real sisters and we are just 4 months apart. But we
Oh,
are not twin sisters. And it's a very funny thing. So, we have face swipe apps and all. So,
oh,
quite some years back, we clicked a picture and we swiped our faces, and there was very little difference that we could see. पता ही नहीं चल रहा
wow,
था कि फेस स्वाइप किया है. So then we realized that we look very much alike.
that's
Yes,
true.
and I dance with her. I dance with my friends. I learn dances online, choreographies. Even I'm very very grateful for this lockdown because I attended a lot of I attended Kathak, contemporary, hip hop, different dance styles workshops online at my home, and I was just learning from them and dancing, learning choreographies, something, I just wanted to do. And another very interesting thing is, so people ask children, what is your ambition? Right? कि बड़े होके आप क्या बनना चाहते हो? And with every stage of life, you have something different to say. Ki, I want to be this, I want to be this. So when I was very young, I used to say I want to be an actress. Then I used to say I want to be a choreographer. And then I grew up a little and then I used to say that I want to be a social worker, maybe then a writer, and then finally came a time when I was like, I want to be a therapist or a psychologist. And now is the time when I look back and I think that I want to be all of those things that I am saying since childhood. I'm going to become an
Wow,
actress, not like a Bollywood actress, but why not? I can become a choreographer. Why not? I can become a writer and social worker and whatnot. I'm going to fulfill all of those ambitions throughout my life, and I'm going to become all of those. Why not?
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. In fact, if people can even realize that all those options exist, and this idea that we are compromising through life is actually a miserable feeling, isn't it?
Okay.
Oh no,
Hmm.
because of
Yeah.
papi pet
Yeah.
ka sawal hai, I have to do it because I have to survive.
Ah,
It is true that survival is a must. But going beyond survival, by the
yes.
way, there's a history why we call
Hmm.
this soaring through chaos. I was always interested in a technical theme, post-traumatic growth. And a friend, when I mentioned that to my friend
Uh-huh.
at Stanford Medical School, that I want to work on post traumatic growth, and I'm not a therapist, but I've been studying psychology, positive psychology, and neuroscience
Hmm.
since 2011. Almost every year, I learn something or the other, some certified, some not so certified, but basically it's learning, right? At Stanford and Berkeley, many little, I've done some work with Emory people and lots of friends. It's like an ocean of teachers, and we learn from each other. But post-traumatic growth is too technical a term, and it scares people. So he said, "How about
Hmm.
thriving on
Yeah.
chaos? And how about surfing on chaos?" And my wife said, "Surfing is okay, except surfing the internet has a different meaning." And she came up with the word soaring
Hmm.
through chaos. And she's not a
Hmm.
therapist. She is a pharmaceutical scientist, but now she works in public health, and she works with nurses and
Uh-huh.
doctors. She works on training people to take care of children, perinatal, prenatal, pregnancy, childbirth. So I love the name because it has this idea of getting out of our misery, settling with it,
Yes.
grieving the things that hurt us, and then moving forward. How are you soaring through this chaos? What steps have you taken to go
Hmm.
beyond
Yeah.
just the survival mode?
Mm-hmm, right. I would say that I am very lucky that I'm living with my family at the moment. So my first soaring is going to be that the family time I got to spend with them. We recently shifted to a new house, and just a few months before the lockdown happened. So we had a lot of things happening at home, and now from a joint family, now we are living in a nuclear family. So they were, my place of, having conversations with them and just talking with them. One was that my family, is a very, very big support to me at the moment in this chaos times. Second, then again, I had a lot of time with me, right? Like we all have a lot of time with ourselves, and I'm very grateful that I could get back to something like dancing again, which, people tell you that you've done a lot of dancing in school. Now that's okay. Now what more? You will just dance in, some parties and all. That is it. But no, this lockdown and this mess that I was in my head, that what is going to happen in my life, I kept that aside and I started dancing again. Started learning dances online, and then another third step that I took was I created my own Instagram page, like I was just sharing. That was a big step because that was coming out, publicly showing everyone my vulnerability, that this is the step I'm taking. Because till now, I thought that people are going to judge me for how I look, how I dance, what things I do. But that was my step, that no judgments, no judgments with me in my head. That's my brave step. I'm going to go out, be public, post whatever I'm doing, and I don't know, maybe that inspires someone to take that step forward and come forward with that braveness and with that courage. It doesn't matter what people say. So that doesn't come that easily. Still, at this point, also sometimes I think that why did I make that page, or why I should post. But that is an ongoing process. That's what I've realized personally. When you are in a mess, when you're in a chaos, it's not once that you come out of it and you say, ki, okay, I am out of it. It is how every time, with every step, you are getting out of that chaos. Every time you're telling yourself the same thing, that it is okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to be in a chaos. It is okay that your mind is a mess right now. But because you believe in yourself, you're going to get out of it. And you surely will. And then you're going to get back again in that chaos. And then you're going to get back again. That's my biggest learning in the past few months. That is, yeah. And getting out in front of people like that, when I saw my friends talking about other people who were doing it, saying ki, Are, what they're doing and all of that, in midst of that, I I took that step. Yeah, but that was really empowering. Truly, truly, that was really empowering, because there are people like you and me who will come and support you in your journeys. I have those people who have always supported me and told me, do it. Whatever you want to do it, you do it. That's very important. That is how till now I've been soaring through the chaos. And the chaos is going to go a little more longer. And in these ways, I'm going to keep soaring out of it.
In
That is what I
fact,
can say.
it's my belief, having talked to many of the best psychiatrists, therapists around the world, as you know, it's an ocean of people, that even if we find the right remedy, we find the right medicine, we find the right vaccine, which could easily take a year or two. I don't believe my president of the United States that it'll happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight. To make it safe and all will take time. But in spite of all that, the economic turmoil, the confusion in society, the anxiety that it's been 6 months since the lockdowns began in many countries, 6 months of not enough
Yeah.
socializing, 6 months of anxiety, 6 months of depression for some cases. It's going to take a long time for all that to unwind. And of course, underemployment
Mm.
or no employment, students not having
Mm.
exams. Even the students who hated tests and exams are like, oh, I wish I could take the tests, which is really funny. But yeah, it's going to take a
Yeah.
while. And so I hope we all brace up for life is this way right now, and what can we do with it? And by the way, thank you for
Right.
saying that. It is, we are judging you. We think your dance channel is fantastic. And I'm sure you heard it from many. And we are like, who is that twin sister? Never knew she had a twin. So yeah, we are judging you. We're trying to figure out, you know what I mean? Like, who is this? And who did she
Yeah,
dance
yeah.
with today? And so on. And maybe if we can, we should do a Zoom dance. A couple of us. It'll be so
Oh,
much fun.
yeah.
So,
That will be
what
fun.
else? Do you have any recommendation for people who are going through that anxiety?
Hmm.
Figured out, or at
Hmm.
least an
Hmm.
ongoing process, you figured out how to keep your sanity, how to grow. You're doing courses
Hmm.
of Emory University, and you're doing many other things, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
On the professional side as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
What do you suggest? How should people,
Yeah.
particularly at your age, teenagers, 20 something, because
Hmm.
it is a vulnerable population, let's face it. Early stages of your
Right.
career, big dreams, and suddenly
Hmm.
all squished. Do you have any suggestions on what people can do?
Yeah. So one thing of a suggestion is to be with yourself. So many people are going to come and tell you what you can do or tell you that this is not what you can do, but you have to be there for yourself. You have to talk to your own self and know that what do you want at this moment. If you are in a room and you don't know what to do, talk to yourself. What are you good at? Or what do you find joy in? Let's start with doing those small things that you feel joy in. Because once you step out, step out of your own darkness that you might have been because of so much happening. Once you step out of that, start having those conversations with yourself. Mindful is something that so many people suggest, and it actually does wonders. I mean, just being with yourself, nothing else. Just focusing on your breath, that actually works real wonders. So, just being that connected with yourself, because once you lose that connect, is when the real problem is going to start to happen. Not being socially connected is a problem, but not being connected with yourself is the biggest problem, because that is when you're going to slip in to the disorders that we talk about in psychology. Till now you have distress, you have distress, that you have a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of stress not going out. But if you let that take over you, that's going to become a disorder that is going to be with you for quite some years of your life. So prevention is better than cure. Rather than curing yourself in the future of the disorders, let's take a few preventions right here, right now, of what you can do. And obviously, professional help is always there. Is always there. Tell yourself that you deserve it. You deserve a professional help. If you really think that you're not able to do it on your own, write a letter to yourself. That's something really beautiful. You write a letter to your future self, and you will read it after a few years, and you're going to look at yourself. Oh, I survived such a thing. A lockdown, staying at home. I survived that. I mean, you're going to be so proud of yourself. Write down how you want to see yourself in the future. I want to see myself as, a lady that has an aura, just carries this circle around herself of positivity, of energy, of encouragement, of motivation. And I see myself on the path where I am going to be there. I had written that down for my future self, that this is how I want my future self to look like. And then I just started working towards it. Just find your own way. That is it. People are going to tell you, do this, do that. Listen to them. Listen to what people have to say, and then find your own way. Just permutation and combinations of different things for your own life. That is the most simplest thing that you can do for yourself. And of course, reach out to people you trust, to people you can trust, the people who trust you. It's a mutual relationship. And again, professional help is always there. You can do it. You deserve it. Yeah, I said a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. In fact, you and I haven't even talked for 18 months since we last met. And that was at
Yeah. Hmm.
one conference. But just the fact that we
Hmm.
could see you, that we all could see each other from the unconference online,
Yeah.
and kind of be there for
Yeah.
each other. We didn't have to do much, but wish each other happy birthday.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
somebody was going through a bereavement, somebody was going through a loss of, even today, I mean, Delhi is going through a nightmare in terms of the
Yeah.
rate at which infections are spreading. To be able to be there for each other, to be able to be there for a nurse or a doctor who's supporting COVID patients, such a gift, isn't it?
Mm.
So, have you been able to do
Yes,
any kind of
yes.
service during the last few months? Of course, taking care of oneself is the biggest
Mm-hmm.
service we can do right now, because
Yeah.
if we can't take care of
Yeah,
ourselves,
yeah,
we can't really help others.
yeah. Mm.
How about others? Are you able to
Yeah.
now serve others in given that you are still going through your
Mm.
licensing process?
Hmm. So, talking about COVID and the things that are happening outside, I personally have not done, you know, not counselings or obviously not treating anyone. My close family members are associated with the hospital. So my Masi is a nurse. She is treating COVID patients. My mother works in a hospital. She goes daily, and so and my one of my uncles is has a restaurant, so he's feeding people. So my family is doing a lot in terms of these COVID times, and I personally haven't done much for other people. I can't say much, but yes, we friends, we keep talking. We keep sharing that. Okay, now we're not getting jobs. We are freshly out of college and we don't know where our future is going to go. But few people of us, we keep talking to each other, and we have created that safe space for each other as friends, where we can talk and share whatever is going on in our mind. It can be the most gravest things that we've done, or our minds are playing game with us, that telling stories that you're not good enough, oh my god, your future is doomed, and all of that, to the most minutest things that today I just feel sad and I have no reason for it. So luckily we've created that space for each other right here, that we can talk about it, share, and neither of us starts giving advices to each other. Acha, you're feeling sad? Okay, you go doing that. No. You are feeling sad? It's okay. You feel sad. And I am here for you. If you want to know something, I can tell you. I can tell a few things. If you don't want to do something and you just want someone to listen to stupid, made up stories, I can even do that. So I've been there for a friend like that. My friend has been there for me in these difficult times, where you can't meet, and you must know it, that how important a hug or a physical touch is for us humans, how important that is for our growth. And we are not meeting people, we are not hugging people, we're just talking to each other like we're talking right now. But how we create that safe space, even talking like this, that you can say anything and you're not going to be judged, and I'm here for you, I'm listening to you. And sadly, people started doing it, which was really good, that people were taking these steps of saying that I am there for you. But many people did not realize that being there for someone is not uh, you calling them up and start giving them advices. Not that you start telling them that you are doing something wrong in your life. Being there for someone means to just listen, to just be there without saying much. you know you must be knowing how this whole thing that we had on social media last month and still going on about mental health. There was this surge of people coming up and saying mental health is important and reach out, and in these difficult times don't feel alone and all of that. Very few people realize that when you are not a professional of being there, it is difficult, because you might say something that might trigger the other person more. So when friends also say that, I am there for you, as friends, we need to understand what do we really mean when we say that we are there for each other. It's really great that you are coming out and saying we are there for you, but the reality is you are there for only for 5 people, right? Because if someone else come to you, you're not going to be there for them, because that person is a stranger to you, which makes sense. But at least you've opened up to 5 people, which is the first step. But realizing that how and what are your boundaries there, so that you don't uh, do more bad than good. It's very, very important. So I am lucky because being in this field, I am surrounded with people in the similar profession. My friends are in the similar profession. So we are quite a bit trained to be good listeners, you can say, or, asking that good questions that helps in a therapy and all of that. So I am lucky enough that I can do that. Not many people are. So that is why we say that talk to only a trusted person that can actually help you and not degrade you all. That is how we've been there for each other. And I'm hoping that everyone else of us are being there for each other in this way. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And in fact, as I mentioned, I'm not a licensed therapist, I'm not a licensed clinician. But what I
Mm.
do exactly, I did that, which was I have many friends because of my work
Mm.
in neuroscience and all
Mm.
that who are trained psychologists and clinical. So I interviewed them first. I talked to Dr.
Mm.
Erika Rosenberg, I talked to Danielle Melgar, and many others who are professional psychologists, psychotherapists, grief counselors, even dance therapists,
Mm.
people who have been there for, who have
Yeah.
professionally been there for each other and for others in need and have been through distress. And the most
Mm.
important advice they gave was, Shankar, continue to your work, keep your mouth shut. And I'm practicing that every day. I'm talking less and less
Mm.
as I listen to people. A
Mm.
huge difference.
Mm.
If you remember the last few times I met, I was always like la la la, la expressive, but expressiveness doesn't help when
Yeah.
somebody needs to be listened to. I'm so glad we talked about practically everything. Have we left out anything? Do you have any last words to say to people
Mm.
before we close?
Ah, yeah. Can't think of last words, but this time of the year, I can say, or all of our lives, we all seeking love, right? We all are seeking that connect connection with people and that value of our lives right now. If right now you're not feeling any value, just give yourself more time. The value is going to come to you, or you are going to find value in your life and your work. That is just one thing that I keep saying every time, and I will still say that just be with yourself, just believe in yourself and love yourself. That value in your life, you will find it. For sure, you will find it. And lots of love to everyone.
Thank you. And we all go through these phases. I remember after doing about 50 interviews, I called a friend, a therapist, and said, I think I'm just wasting my time. And she said, Shankar, if nobody else, we therapists are listening. It's like case studies. If nothing else, we are listening to your interviews and we're learning from each other. And I'm like, okay, in that case, I will continue.
Hmm.
Then after another, oh, but I'm not getting the right number of hits. It was so much more fun in electronics and biotech. Why am I doing this? I said, we really like your work. Why are you going by quantity of hits? Why are you going by the number of likes? Why are you going
Hmm.
by the number of, if I, as you know very well, Ravina, if I do a dance, I get 500 visitors and 50 likes or 100 likes. If I do a talk like this, I'll be lucky to get 100 visitors and maybe 10 likes. But the difference is it's not the same. I love dancing and so do you. And it's great to do that. And it's
Hmm.
very visceral. People can feel it. And hopefully they're also dancing, which is great. That is entertainment and also
Hmm.
self-care. But this has a different purpose.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've gone through
Absolutely.
my own trials and tribulations. And what encourages
Yeah,
friends
I
like you,
understand.
encourages me is friends who have been there, done that, and know the seriousness of it, that it is necessary to support each other in whatever ways we can.
Hmm.
And to all those who are listening,
Hmm.
we will provide any social media links to Ravina. Definitely her Instagram page for dance, right, which is public,
Yes.
and any other links if you want to
Yeah.
share. I'll share my links as well. And anybody who wants to share about their
Yeah.
life, it'll be fun to talk. It'll be fun to share with each other.
Yes.
Um, we all go through
Yes.
these things at all ages. The self doubt, am I doing real stuff or am I just making my own, what do you
Hmm.
call, Am I just making up my own stories? That's
Fooling
very,
myself. Yeah, yeah,
especially when you're locked up at home,
yeah.
we can't meet people face to face, we
Hmm.
can't do so-called real things, right? We had because we have a
Hmm.
notion of what is real, and right now that notion is broken.
Hmm.
So thanks
Yeah,
again. Please stay in touch, and I would love to hear from
yeah.
everybody. And
Yes,
Ravina,
yes,
thank you. You've been
yes.
just amazing. You had that sense
Mm-hmm.
out too at the beginning of this.
Thank you too.
You are like, I'm not sure what I'm going to
Yeah.
say yourself. How did you
Yeah,
enjoy being
right,
yourself in the
right,
show?
right. Oh, that I love it. I mean, just talking is my thing. Talking and listening is my thing. So I love talking. I just can go on and I can also listen. So it was the best thing for me then. Great. It was
Uh,
great. I loved it.
Thanks,
Loved
Ravina,
sharing
and
it.
stay in touch.
Yeah.
And most likely, when I
Thanks.
go to Africa, I'll
Yes.
go through Delhi. If there's even 1 or 2 days, I'll let all of you
Mm-hmm.
know so we can have a get together, socially
Yes.
distanced
Yes.
get together.
Yes. 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 Of course. Taking all the precautions and
Yes,
staying
yes.
apart. But yes, you need.
Stay in touch.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.